My name is Dr. Kate Evarts, and I am the Director of Student Affairs at Antioch's Clinical Psychology doctoral program. I work with Dean. I'm also the Director of the Center for Diversity and Social Justice. I'm going to start my speech now. Decolonization, liberation, healing. These take immense commitment, effort, but also hope. We're addressing systems that were built to resist all resistance. We're addressing social conditioning that has taken hold in our very beings and formed by centuries of oppression, privilege, domination, patriarchy, white supremacy, and violence. As a feminist, part of how I strengthen my hope to ideally dismantle these colonizing systems of oppression is to be in relationship and collaboration with others who are similarly committed to dismantling. Here enters the collaboration. So the collaboration between the research labs at Antioch's Seattle and New England clinical psychology doctoral programs has allowed myself, Dean, Jude, and the students to be in community as we ask questions, critique, mourn, and heal, while also hoping to invite the societies around us to do the same. As Jude mentioned, he began a research lab with his students in Seattle in 2017. Implementing and celebrating student research projects that address social privilege and oppression. Soon thereafter, Dean and I used Jude's model as an inspiration for our own research collaborative on the New England campus, which we then founded in 2019. We have enjoyed continued collaboration. I don't know what's happening. Can someone mute?
Yeah, I got it. Thanks,
Okay.
Kate.
No, thank you. We have enjoyed continued collaboration between both research groups ever since then, since 2019. Annually, we collaborate on a symposium, this one, that amplifies the student research that's born out of those individual collaboratives. What's really beautiful is we have these relationships with each other on our individual campuses, but then they're joined by our relationships with those on the other campus and creating this really cool set of concentric circles of relationship. In addition, Jude, Dean, and I also meet throughout the year, yet another example of using relationships as a way to support our individual capacities for ongoing social justice work. Relationships and connection with others can be transformative as well as empowering. Connecting and collaborating can provide the hope and strength necessary to address these colonizing, white supremacist patriarchal systems that have been built, revered, and ingrained in citizen consciousness. They can provide the hope and strength necessary to engage in the critical consciousness and self-reflexivity that Dean will mention. In addition, relationships themselves form an important factor in decolonizing the research process. So when we think about this sort of patriarchal colonizing research, we're talking about that power dynamic that's upheld by the researchers at the top of the hierarchy. In addition, we would think about disseminating research in a top-down didactic approach. These are colonizing ways of engaging with research. Instead, participatory action research, just as one example, suggests that we include members of the community being researched at every step of the research process, so interviewing or data analysis, even coming up with a research question. As researchers, our relationships with members of the community are therefore key to engaging in transformative and liberating research. Further, when we're thinking about the dissemination, rather than a top-down, I'm going to lecture at you type of learning, we think about more interactive, collaborative learning and engaging in co-construction of knowledge together using power with rather than power over. There is still, of course, a power dynamic, and there is one today as well about who's speaking. But we want to make space for collaboration and talking about the knowledge that we're sharing with acknowledging we don't know everything. So the breakout room portion that we'll have today is with that intent, being interactive. These are some ways to decolonize the research process. We live and work under the pillars of white supremacy and patriarchy, as I've mentioned, both of which thrive on the concept of exceptionalism. White, cis heterosexual, able-bodied men built this country on the foundation of exceptionalism, a ranking system that informed which people were seen as fit to live, own land, or even have relationships. This foundation informed unimaginable, merciless genocide and trauma, with long-reaching tentacles extending to the colonialism we still suffer under in today's society. One of the pillars of patriarchy is non-apology. Our country has not and does not apologize for decades and centuries of genocide, oppression of marginalized people, slavery, the atomic bombings of Japanese civilians, institutional violence, police brutality and murders of Black civilians, sexual violence perpetrated against and murders of Asian American women, domination of the ecology and earth, and the list goes heartbreakingly on. Ignoring our history does not lead to healing. Rather, apology, reparations of different forms, decolonization and liberation will allow us to connect with one another and heal. However, that decolonization and liberation of oppressed individuals can only come through collaborative work towards repair, reconciliation, and healing. Thus, with engagement in relationships and connection, our research activist approach and research collaboratives or labs aim to decolonize the research process and invite us all to take any steps we can towards a liberated future. Thank you, and now Dean will speak.